Traders. Oh, shoot. Oh, I keep doing that. How's everybody doing? Thirsty. Today's been one of those days. Kind of exciting. We're getting some volatility now. I want to show you guys a couple of things. First of all, I hope you guys saw the news that came out from or regarding Bitcoin about the taxation. Right here in your live stream, Treasury calls for crypto transfers over 10,000K reported to IRS. I mean, look, that's like bank transactions in the U.S. If you withdraw $10,000 in cash, that has to more than $10,000. So like you could go to a bank and withdraw 9,000. I think it works like this, and just it's not something that I normally do, but from what I understand, you can withdraw up to $9,999. But after that transaction gets reported to the IRS, like if you go to the bank. So why wouldn't they do it for cryptos? If cryptos are going to be the next currency, I'm sure the Treasury is like, well, if you want to act like a currency, we're going to tax you like a currency, and we're going to recognize you as a currency. And that's the point of my last tweet. If you guys follow me on Twitter, and I'm not, I don't know if you all do, especially those of you that are watching after the fact. Like if you watch this tomorrow and you're seeing this video, then I am Pipczar, Pipcz, Z as in zebra, okay, AR, or if you use the phonetic alphabet, that would be Zulu. Anyway, the reason why I tweeted what I tweeted, because most of you already know my feelings, but for those of you that don't, like I said, if you're listening in and you don't know who I am, cryptocurrency is a threat to, you could go, it's how should I phrase it? It's kind of like the government needs to retain control to a certain extent of everything. We would have a lawless society if we didn't. Like, if you think about like the Capitol riots, for example, they happen, whether you're for or against it in the United States, it happened, right? And the government has to do something about that. They had to, prosecute people and, follow up on that, because they have to make sure that people know that that's not right. How do you control a mass amount of people? You have to have a government, right? Now, again, this is not political. I don't want you guys to think, oh, Blake believes in government and regulations and blah, 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 blah. No. You just, from a societal standpoint, right? Like they have to retain control, because if you don't, you'll have lawlessness. I mean, look, we're humans. We are, as I said earlier this morning, we're tribal people, right? I'm an American. You're a European, you're an Asian, whatever. We live in, Thailand, and we're all Thai and we're proud, it's the same type of thing. But the government has to control it somehow, right? So regarding the Capitol riots, they had to follow up on it and show the people that they were serious about it, so it doesn't happen again. Like I said, whether it's right or wrong, or to prevent maybe a civil war or something like that. Now, when you take cryptocurrencies and you threaten the government and the financial system, the government, whether it's the Fed or the Treasury or everyone, knows that our financial system is really predicated on rising stock markets and a stable currency and yada yada yada. If you disrupt that and you threaten it, you threaten the social fabric that holds us all together, right? There's already pent up anger as it is in our society. So, you want to extrapolate that a little bit more or make it even worse, then yeah, let Bitcoin be the next currency and let the dollar go into the tubes. And, sure, you want that to happen, then you turn the whole world upside down. But the governments don't want that to happen. They need to control it somehow. So how are they going to do it? Well, they're going to tax it and they're going to regulate it. And, the whole argument to having Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is being able to, evade taxes or blah, I mean, we don't have to go around and like all the benefits of it and the reasons why people buy it and create it and everything else. But if you're a government, you have to try to control it somehow. Right. So of course they're going to say, well, we're going to tax it. We're going to regulate it. We can just deregulate or just make it completely illegal, or we can tax it. And I would assume that they want to tax it because they want to somehow make their own digital currency in the future. So they don't want to say it's bad, you can't do it, and then make their own. Right. So they have to be really careful about what line they cross or what line they're walking on. So if you now, the government will say, hey, well, we'll just tax and regulate. We'll regulate it. And if you're a crypto person and you own crypto and you're like, F that, I'm not doing it. I ain't paying. I ain't playing your political game. I'm not playing in your government games. You can do that all you want, but if they make it illegal or, you are, prosecuted for tax evasion, you have to go to jail, because you didn't pay your taxes on it, or if they make it, they deregulate it, whatever else. This is like what they're going to do, right? They're going to tax you. They're going to tax us on crypto trades, crypto holdings, because if you want to act like a currency, they're going to tax you like a currency, right? Hold on, really quick. JT is asking, talking about it now, and I talk about it almost daily on things. Hold on. Make sure everybody's listening in, because if they're in the chat rooms and they're not listening in here, I need to make sure. Make sure JT listens in. So again, the point I'm trying to make here is, if crypto is going to be regarded as a currency, then it's going to be taxed like one. And as a crypto holder, whether it's you or me or anybody else, we can say, I'm not doing it. But then the risk is, you don't pay your taxes. Once you're taxed on it, or it's reported and you have to pay your taxes on it, then you go to jail, right? And you might say, well, I'm going to freaking leave. I'm moving. You know what the government's going to say? I dare you. Go ahead. Uproot your family. You like America, you like Canada, or whatever country you live in, it doesn't matter if it's here or there or anywhere else. Your government is eventually going to say, yeah, pay your taxes or feel free to leave. Right? I mean, that's an eventuality. And I sit here, believe me, I go through this same, how many times in my last 20 years, my wife and I have said, you know what, let's just say, screw it. Let's just sell everything and just move. We've thought about going to Greece, because we have family there. Now I have business partners there, about just dropping everything and going. It's just it'll leave. But in all actuality, I've got family, I've got friends, I've got ties, I've got, kids got sports, they got school, I got assets. What the hell am I supposed to do? Crap. At the end of the day, I'm just going to end up sitting here and paying my taxes. And I'm going to live my life and die. Right? I mean, the chances of you or me or anybody else uprooting our whole family. Now, you may be single and you may be like a single guy or gal and you're like, I have no family, I have no friends. But all power to you. go to the Bahamas or go wherever, go to Cyprus, go somewhere, why be here? But for the 99.9% of us, we're like kind of stuck, and we're like, all right, I guess I'm going to pay my taxes. I guess I'll report my crypto holdings. I guess I'm going to abide by the, I mean, that's it, right? So anyway, I just, some, those are just my initial thoughts. And it's not like, I'm not here to tell you what's right and what's wrong. I'm just going to tell you that I think your government's going to lay down the law. And then the question is, what happens to crypto when they do that? Like you go, okay, we saw Bitcoin drop 5% real fast. I know 5% is like a drop in the bucket, but this is just a warning. What happens when, we get the news? I'm assuming at some point, all crypto transactions that are, less than, 2 years old, have to qualify for ordinary income. And then if you've had it for more than 2 years, you get capital gains tax or something like that, or, they can do whatever they want, and you're going to have to make a choice. I'm not paying. And hopefully you can evade getting caught and getting put in jail. That's your choice, not mine. Or, you pay your taxes, which most of us will, right? I mean, Jane said, like John McAfee in a Barcelona jail for fraud and embezzlement, hasn't paid taxes for several years. I mean, yeah. I mean, look at John McAfee. He's like that. He is the poster child of like super wealthy. And Raj says, if you move to Greece, you have to deal with Steve. You are better off staying in the USA and paying your taxes. Don't tell Steve, but you got it right on the nose. Okay, all right. Let's talk about the markets. All right, so and by the way, I love Steve like a brother, and and same with Stelios. I love those guys. Salt of the earth, greatest people in the world, and Steve is that dude. Both of them are. They will literally give you the shirt off their backs. They will. If you're in their good graces, you cross them, and then you have to listen to Steve talk all day, and then that's a problem, right? Love you, Steve, if you're listening. We like to harass him a lot because he does talk. I mean, guy can talk. I mean, I can talk, but man, he can really talk. All right, let's talk. Speaking of which, let's talk about the S&P. So let's talk about actually Jason wrote in. He goes, looks like the SPY is setting up for a new high in the coming days or weeks. Possible. Actually, could be in the coming days. As you can see here, we have this this triangle pattern. What do you think the triangle pattern could? Lorraine, I'm not even going to say that. What do you think? What do you think this triangle pattern can actually turn into? You can answer me or not answer me. I'm going to tell you anyway. I think it could turn into one or two things, really. It could turn into a Gartley pattern, which it's perfectly set up to do so right now. Right? Or it could, it could turn into a butterfly pattern. There we go. Right? Which is entirely possible as well if we break out of this triangle. So you got to be respectful of the market. I mean, I'm very wary about being short risk while we're above 4,000 in the S&P, right? Very, very wary about it. Martin says it seems like A, B, C, D, E, and breaks to test highs. Yeah, I mean, It could be. Let's just, and what I think what you're saying here is this. Could do something like that for sure. And then yeah, we could see something like this. You know, that would be a cipher ish, something like that. You know, maybe you know. And again, we're all just speculating. But I think what we have to be respectful of right now is the triangle pattern that's developing. I wouldn't be surprised if we did this going into the weekend, right? Think about like this into the next couple of days. But watch Bitcoin because and these cryptocurrencies, they are under a little bit of pressure, right? They really are. And I mean, look at Bitcoin sliding pretty good, you know. Ethereum under pressure. I mean, cryptos, they're all gonna they're coming after us, crypto people. I say us. I mean, you know, you own crypto, they're going to come after you. They will. They're going to want their piece. Every government will want their piece. What do you do about it? I don't know if there's a whole lot you can do. So again, or leave wherever you're at. You know, doesn't matter where you live. It's just, let's talk a little bit about the other markets that I'm looking at. First of all, the euro's really challenging this resistance, and you got to be careful shorting the euro. I am not, and most of you know this, I am not a stocks go down, dollar's going to rally across the board. I'm not that person. I am a stocks go down. Oh shoot! Hold on 1 second. Bear with me. Okay, sorry about that. That was something I got to follow up with in a few minutes. It's nothing like exciting, but I guess what I was going to say is I look at currencies like the Euro Aussie, and I think the Euro Aussie are going to be breaking out higher if we go into risk off. So that means, you know, the Aussie, the Kiwi, the Canadian, the peso, those are going to be pairs you really got to be careful with, in my opinion, right? So let's look at like the dollar mex. So I think the dollar mex is kind of setting up here. You know, we had that little false breakdown from a couple of days ago. Be careful with it if we start to break above 2010. Be really careful if you're short if we make it above this 2030. You know, my chart of the day yesterday was the rand. I think the rand is setting up. You know, look how we're holding support here. That's pretty important. Dollar Canadian dropped right to the 120.50 that we talked about today. You know, and I actually picked up some dollar Canadian about 10 pips ago. So I bought it a little bit this morning. I forgot I sold it all yesterday, and I was looking at my position board and I'm like, oh, I forgot I sold it yesterday, and then I actually stayed short the Canadian yen, which is not doing anything. But yeah, if the Canadian can bounce here, that's quite possible, and you know, in a risk off type of scenario. And also you take a look at like the cable. I'm definitely not bearish the cable, you know, and especially while we're above 140. So you know, looking around, I think you just have to be selective in what dollar pairs you're trading. Okay. Anything else? Let's see. Ahmed's Come on, Blake, you must say what Lorraine had said. Lorraine said Steve reminds me of Zorba the Greek. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Alex says, from what come on taxes, I can tell you that is quite different from the U.S. Less difficulties than the IRS annual. Yeah, and you know what? Again, I have to say that every system and every government's different. I'm just saying that your government, you know, wherever you live, wherever you reside, they're going to want theirs. They're going to want their piece at some point, you know. And I mean, we're only on this earth for a very short period of time, and the period of time that I have has been shrinking on a daily basis, and I'm sure you guys have too. And what I've realized over my almost 50 years on this planet is nothing comes for free, right? And there is going to be a cost. And governments that, you know, there's two things in life that are sure: death and taxes. They say that, everybody says it, but does crypto evade taxes? It did for a while, but now that it's in the limelight, anyway. All right, guys. I know I talked a lot about taxes and death and Bitcoin. Sorry. It's not exactly the topic of conversation I really wanted to have today. But we did talk about the S&P. You know, gold and silver, the anti-Bitcoin is, you know, firming up a little bit. So you got Bitcoin that's rolled over right where it should, right? Previous support, current resistance, breakout point, big rejection. Technically, it's doing exactly what Bitcoin should be doing, technically. So what we all know is a move above 43,000 in Bitcoin would be bullish. Amir asked, what is LTC USD? It's Litecoin. Litecoin's just another cryptocurrency. It's another altcoin, a popular one. Not one that I look at quite a bit, but you can see we just tested the 200-day moving average. Jeez Louise, that one really got taken to the woodshed. Holy moly. I wasn't even looking at Litecoin. Hit the 127% extension. I mean, Litecoin, if you ask me, it looks like it's going right back to where it started, to 72. Jeez. Ugh. That is gross. It just, it goes to show you, and this is a so I'm going to leave you with one last thing. So yesterday I was on the phone with the gentleman that I traded for the last, up until a few months ago, for the last 5 years, right? We brought him on as a guest on the Face webinar. His name is Ronnie Schlapfer. He, we brought him onto the Face webinar. I did an interview with him. He was the gentleman that was in the BBC documentary, $1 Billion Day. Did you guys ever see that? Did you guys ever see it? No? Amira said no. Not really. Oh, hold on. Okay, guys. So this is the webinar. Ronnie is the gentleman I traded for the last 5 years, right? And I'm going to give you the link to this. Okay. And then you can go find $1 Billion Day on YouTube. No. Okay, did you guys, I don't know what that is. Hold on. There you go. I'm going to give you a second so you can click on that link. Go click on the YouTube link. I just put it in our chat box. Click on that. Okay, because I don't want to shut down the webinar and you guys not click on it. Okay, but if you don't, just you can search this, right? He's the gentleman I just traded for like the last 5 years up until recently. And I was talking to him yesterday about where we're at, you know, just we talked for like a good 20 or 30 minutes. We try to catch up every once in a while. He's like the best dude in the world, you know, to know. And he's an amazing trader. He was telling me how he played gold, and you know, he loves precious metals, like trading them wise. And the talk I was having with him was regarding where we're at in crypto. And you look at, and the reason why I'm telling you this is you look at the price action in Litecoin, and we were talking about how the similarities. Amir, I brought him to Face. That's his Face interview. So that is, and that was a one and done. He was hesitant to even do that one. So just go back and watch the recording. The conversation that we had is like, okay, this is very similar to the .com bubble. And as you guys know, in the .com bubble, everything crashed. There were survivors. And guess what? The internet ended up being a great place and a great thing, right? It did, and it is. I mean, without the internet, where would we be right now? But Yahoo survived, AOL survived. Netscape didn't, you know, broadcast.com, where's that? I mean, I know they all got gobbled up and blah, 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 blah. But, and there's a lot of companies that just went out of business. It's going to be the same thing with the crypto space, I'm sure. I mean, it takes a whole generation for investors to forget what happened 25 years ago, right? There's a few of us that have kind of lived through these a couple of times. And guess what? I'm sure, you know, you take a Litecoin, and I'm not saying that Litecoin is not going to survive, but look at the price action. Bitcoin went from 50-some thousand to 40,000. Litecoin almost gave back everything from the last year. You know, a lot of these altcoins will disappear. I'm pretty confident. I mean, I don't know for sure. You never know for sure. But if it's a repeat of what we saw, you know, a lot of these coins that just appear out of thin air, they're going to disappear into thin air. But blockchain and crypto there's probably a lot of validity to that. And it's probably going to be the technology we use moving forward. And there's going to be survivors, and there's going to be I mean, look, I wish I would have bought Google in 2002, or Amazon rather. I bought Netflix. I spun out of it for a quadruple, and I thought I was a rock star. That same 1,000 shares of Netflix that I bought back in 2002 that I sold in like 2004 or 5. I mean, if I had that now, I mean, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, this is just one of those things you really have to be cognizant of. Anyway, I've talked way too long. You guys have a great afternoon. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And I don't know if you got a lot out of this talk, but I hope you enjoyed it. So you guys have a great one. Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon.